folks, man. This is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Clashes of Cinematics. And I'm joined as always with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, and today, this is going to be our final episode of our Stephen King month-long Halloween special. So today we're going to be talking about Children of the Corn. And this film came out in 1984 and is directed by Fritz Hirsch. And the story goes as this. As physician Bert Stanton and his girlfriend Vicky drive across the Midwest to his new job, their trip comes to a sudden halt when they encounter the body of a murdered boy in the road. And trying to contact authorities, Bert and Vicky wander into a small town populated only by children, followers of sinister young preacher Isaac Kroner. Soon, the couple is fleeing the youthful fanatics who want to sacrifice them to their demonic deity. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this film is interesting. It stars, we got John Franklin, we got Peter Horton, Courtney Gaines, Linda Hamilton, Donald B. Wurchers, R.G. Armstrong, Jonas Marlowe, Anne Marie McAvoy, John Philbin, Robbie Kiger, Julie Maddalena, and Dan Cook, and Mitch Carter. They all star in this film, man. And did I introduce my co-host? Bobby Blockbuster? All right,
yes, you did.
All right, just making sure, man.
Uh-huh.
It's a busy day.
Right?
But yeah, man. So this is interesting. This is based on one of his. Is this a full novel or is this?
This is a short adaptation out of the book Night Shift. Again,
Night Shift was putting out bangers.
That's what I'm saying.
Dang, that's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
But this is an interesting one, man. I actually kind of like this, man. A lot of the critics at the time, just thought some of it was kind of cheesy, and there are some faults in the production values and some of the performances, but overall, I kind of like the concept of this, man.
Yes.
Like essentially, the kids in this town, have this crazy evangelical leader, and I would like to see how that got started. But basically, he convinces all these children in the town to kill all the adults. Everyone over 18 must be killed, and they do it. Like that's the opening shot to this film, and then it proceeds from there. That's when we meet Bert and Vicky. They actually kind of just wander into this town during their road trip, just because circumstances. Because I think one of the kids is trying to escape or go out and seek help, and and they catch him. The other kids. And they actually kill him or slash his throat, and he stumbles out into the road and gets hit by Vicky and Bert's car. Mm-hmm. And then the story goes from there, man. But I thought overall this thing is pretty interesting, man. So what do you like about this?
Well, first and foremost, to anyone who was concerned, I just want to let everyone know that no real corn was hurt in this film. Okay, all the corn in the field was real, but for all of the corn crucifixes and little voodoo dolls they made, they used polyurethane corn. So
okay,
we don't have to worry about that. Outside of that, I love the tone setting. Like you said, I mean, it starts off with this just very gruesome scene of these kids pretty much taking over this town, and it proceeds from there. And I thought that was a really cool setup to bring us into our two characters played by Linda Hamilton and what's his name, Peter Horton as Bert, the dumbest doctor I've ever met. They as this film progresses and they're, on their little road trip, you don't dodge red flags when you see them. I mean, there is a lot of things that are going on in this film that just make you wonder while you're watching, like, turn the other way. Keep cruising. Like, when they go to the gas station, guys like, we don't have gas here. Just go to Hattonsville or whatever. And they're like, no, well, Gattinsville is right here, but it's not on the map. No, avoid them. We don't have gas. Keep cruising. And then they end up following the signs, driving all over the place.
Towns usually do have a gas station, so I can see why they was like, why can't we go to this local one? I could understand that,
Slightly, yes. But then when you get there and then you see it's desolate, it's a ghost town. There's no one around. Right. But yet again, this is the doctor being a good Samaritan. He's like, I got to find the phone and call somebody, to tell the authorities that we just ran over this kid in the middle of the road, and I get all that.
Yeah, because you don't have phones, man, and they're in like a remote part of the country, man. Like it's hard to believe that there's spaces like this now. But I believe, man. There's like the old man at the gas station is like, oh, this is a third car we had this week.
Turned
into an expressway out here, and I'm just like, there's probably small towns, maybe not that extreme, but where traffic is like at a minimum, man. Like you don't, and things are really spread out. Like I think I have friends that tell me, they've done the cross country drive, and you'll run into signs, and it'll be like, yeah, you need gas, you better get it now. There's not another station for another 100 miles. So these are warnings on the side. So it's letting me know that there are small little places out there like that, that do exist,
Yes, they
but
do.
But it's going to be interesting. Like, it'd be hard to make this movie now with cell phones and stuff. That's something you're going to have to, write around.
And that's the thing, too. Even though there are places like this that exist, when you do reach, I guess, what those places would consider town, there are people there.
Yeah.
Like, there's no cars.
There's people doing people things.
Oh, yeah. There's no pedestrians. The only thing that they see is a couple kids that try to steal their car.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, let's go run down these kids. So,
why are you going to run them down?
Yeah.
Get out, I'm gone. I'm trying to get on my trip.
So,
you waste of time. I got to be somewhere.
On that note, I want to applaud the embeddedness and the adult-minded nature that these kids had, because they pretty much took out all the adults so they could run this town. You know what I mean? And
which is so weird. They killed their parents. They killed their grandparents. They killed their neighbors.
Everyone.
It's wow.
But then it leads us into, the most notable character in this film from most people that have seen it is the red-haired kid, Malachi. He's like, I talk to people, they're like, oh, he was so scary. He might have been scary in '84.
Cool. For me, the one that stood out to me more was Isaac.
Yes, because he's the leader. And the funny thing about all this is when you look at
Malachi was like the muscle.
He was the muscle. But when you look at the banter between Isaac and Malachi, it kind of plays to me like the same what we would get from Megatron and Starscream.
Yes,
except they're fighting over who wants to be the leader of the Decepticons.
I'm gonna let you slide with that. How long ago did you think of that one? Like, cause you been sitting on that for a week, ain't you?
About 2 days ago, yeah. But yeah, like this power struggle that starts to ensue, because you see like all of their followers, they start to lean more towards Malachi because he's showing improvement.
Yeah, he's out there doing the stuff.
He's doing the dirt where Isaac is just chirping, and it's wild because with that, like I said, there's all this
it's a lot. Go ahead.
I mean, because then they really hit heavy on this religious aspect and everything. And, for the time that this came out in '84, I think that also was what was really like injecting the fear in people, is that, the whole culty vibe that's like religious based, you know what I mean? And then you got these kids that are just pretty much taking out every adult that they come across, for their beliefs and everything. And I thought that was a cool concept to start with, but as the film progresses, it was awesome to see that there was actually something driving them, that they weren't just
so that's the thing too, that I think well, in a way, like you said, they are sipping the Kool-Aid, and I think it's because of the background of this town. This is a small town. This is evangelical Christian land. The thing I couldn't figure out, though, that I kept wondering, like, was that radio broadcast real? Like, whenever they turned on the radio, it was a preacher talking about fire and brimstone, kind of preaching. And I'm wondering if that was the effect of this force that's driving these kids. Because at first, like as you started to get into, it seems like it's all just them following this charismatic leader. But I thought this was really dope about the movie. Later on, when we get to that sacrifice scene, and we realize there actually is something pulling the strings behind that. So, and I think that evil entity is playing on their religious indoctrination and their fears based upon their religion, as a way to manipulate Isaac and Malachi and all them to get all these kids and get everything to do what they do. And for whatever reason, it needs these under 18-year-old bodies, because you think about it, the kids could have just captured those adults and kept feeding it, but for some reason, this thing needs them under 18. It needs them.
I think it's that children are easier to manipulate. He's manipulating them because they're so young and their mind is so open, and they're easier to convert into to this lifestyle. And in essence, they're being led by what they perceive as another child. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's trippy too, because when the film first starts, in the window you see there's a sign that says corn drought, and like all of the cornfields look like the corn ain't growing. And then once these kids take over the town, the cornfields are plush and full of corn, and the leaves are all green and everything. So there's some kind of entity that's.
I gotta backtrack a little bit. I said that the thing wanted people who were under 18, but it doesn't. They sacrificed them once they hit 18.
Once you turn 19.
Once you turn 19, yeah.
It's so then you are a sacrificial.
But also,
lamb.
like I said, though, that's crazy to me. But maybe it figured out it will be more trouble for these kids to try to contain the adults. Because I'm saying they could have locked them all in a barn and just kept feeding the thing periodically because they were older than 19. But maybe the thing figured doing that would have probably been too tough. These kids, the adults probably would have broke out and overpowered and escaped.
Yeah, right. And, these are like 7 to 14-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? All you got to use is your grown man strength. Like that's another thing. I love when Bert.
But that's what I liked about Bert. You said like earlier when you were talking about Bert and his doctor shit, I was like, you know what? He was kind of acting a little bit realistically, and I think that's why he was caught off guard, because he was treating them like kids, and I love that. Like, he was
but he was also kind of naive.
He was mushing the shit out.
Oh man, I love when Bert used his grown up strength on him. Like they had him in a full jump. I'm a jump you circle. It was like 12 of them. He was like, man, you know what? He pulled the knife out of these, like you said, mushing them, kicking them. It's like, come on, man. You give one of them a grown man hook, they're out for the count.
I needed more Bert. Like, I wish they showed Bert like stabbing one of them or punching them in the face.
Well, that's the thing too. Like,
I would have loved it.
This is one where the short story is a little more grim. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the story,
we rated R already, man.
Yeah.
I need some kids to catch the people's elbow.
Yeah,
rock bottom.
Like, in the story, Linda Hamilton's character, she ends up getting
helicopter spin.
Yeah, she gets put up on the corn and she doesn't make it. Mert don't make it. I mean, the story is a lot more grim. So I think that yet again with the timing and censorship or whatever, they were treading lightly because they were already hitting so heavy on the religious aspect of it. But all in all, yeah, man, Bert did what he was supposed to do, man, and I like that.
Yeah, I love that, man, because in some ways he definitely was acting like I felt he should have been acting. Like, it was funny to me though too. In the beginning of the scene, just came up in the background where they hit the kid initially. And it's funny because you just see this little dummy rolling like it looks so cheap and fake, man. But I don't know, man. But later on, like I said, man, as this thing unfolds, I thought that was really cool that there was actual an entity, because this could have just been a straight up. You could have told this both ways and it worked. I think, from the evangelical cult leader side and. With the spiritual element. I think the spiritual element, though, that took it over the top for me. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, that was crazy. That was dope.
That's what makes it all make sense and make it more heavy hitting. You know what I'm saying? And that's what puts that Stephen King oomph behind it. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, everything that he was writing had a supernatural element to it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just say, oh yeah, these culty kids just did this. But that. I think that was really cool. And then, with them, really putting the emphasis on that on the back end and giving us this whole, the behind the rows thing. Because up until that point, you think Isaac's just talking trash, dog. But then, then when you see, Malachi, goes full on Starscream, it's like, you know what? We feeding you to the one with the rose or behind the rose. I thought that was really cool that, and then, they said, due to budget restraints, like when Isaac came back, he looked a little mangled up, but not really.
It worked for me.
It worked for me too.
It probably wasn't as bad as they wanted it to be. But
they
it
wanted flesh hanging and skull showing and all this stuff, but they said due to budget restraints, which I could understand why this one didn't get a prime time budget, but
yeah. It worked though, man. I fuck with that. But the thing that also another thing that works is like I said, the small town vibes. I like the scene with the gas station driver because essentially it's not a big cast. We've got a small. I mean, the kids are deep, but really only deal with a few of them. But I like the gas station scene because there always seems to be that in these kind of roadside movies. I mean, we kind of seen the same thing with the sheriff and Chainsaw Massacre. It's like someone that's there that's kind of giving them a warning, man. And my man was trying, but what was weird, I think, like it seems like he'd been coexisting along these kids for a long time, and it was funny to me. I think when he tried to steer them away from the town, that's when they turned on him. Yeah, and that was interesting, man.
Because definitely, I got that feeling that he was working with them.
Well, he said,
he's like, when doing what you want.
Think about it. When later on, when Isaac and Malachi are arguing. And Isaac was like, "You killed the gas station guy. We need his gas, And he's like, "Oh, we'll figure it out. We got our own. We can make it out of the corn." I'm like, "This was like ethanol. Was like ethanol in 84 in 84." Wow. Yeah, man. It was crazy, man. But yeah. I definitely think I like this more than a lot of people do. I mean, it's not the most best made. There's it's kinks in the armor. And all that, but overall, as a story that is telling, I was entertained with this thing, man.
Absolutely, I can definitely understand why it's a cult classic because even though, like I said, there's the supernatural element, the actual horror figments are these children, and the dude Courtney Gaines who played Malachi. I mean, he was a pretty iconic horror figure at that time. You ask anyone who's seen Children of the Corn, he is the one that they reference. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had that the attitude. He had the biggest knife of all the kids, and he was about that work. He was the one taking people out. When it was time to catch bodies, he was doing that.
Shout out to John Franklin as Isaac. Like, it was weird. You were telling me earlier how old they were, and I was like, his face looks like it. This. It looks like they hired an adult actor who just happened to be smaller and cast him in his role because his face, it's like it almost looks childish, but then also looks like it's seen some things in life. and the way he played this character, like the tone he was invoking, his speech pattern and everything, I was like, yo, this. Like he's doing it.
He's doing it. And to your point, he was 24 years old at the time of filming. So. I think that's really cool. And then, not for nothing, I mean, just, to the lore of this film and this franchise, this is the one Stephen King adaptation film that has grossed or spawned the most sequels. This shit has 9 sequels.
Damn. How many of those were remakes or reboots? And then
I know
that's crazy. I know they did a lot of others, like Children of the Corn 2 or Return of the...
Yeah, the last one I saw was Children of the Corn Genesis, and I think that was supposed to be
how it all started.
A reboot of the original. But, I mean, like I said, there's a lot to play with when it comes to this, but how many towns can get overthrown by kids, man?
I mean, they did another one in 2009. Then there was a 2020 Children of the Corn. Like, they did a lot. And other, whatever the hell they did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, direct sequels to this one. I think it had like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah,
Children of the Corn film series. The films here, wow, yes, dude. So we got Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. I think that's more direct, but dang, that didn't show up till 93. Children of the Corn 3, Urban Harvest. So they put this in modern times? What? Children of the Corn, The Gathering. Children of the Corn, Fields of Terror. Children of the Corn 666, Isaac's Return. What?
The Return of Isaac.
Children of the Corn, The Revelation. Children of the Corn, Genesis. Children of the Corn, Runaway. And we still, Children of the Corn, yeah, these are the other remade versions. Then there was a short film called Disciples of the Crow. But hold up, man, I'm just looking at just what we got. There's more of these than there are Jason films. Or as many, and definitely more than Freddy films. Like, this is crazy, dude.
So wow. It definitely carries its weight in gold. And I think because this one just it took a step away from what we were used to seeing in Stephen King adaptation films. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a fun ride, man. Like, anything else stands out to you?
Well, Linda Hamilton. I think that it was cool to see her before she went, full on badass Sarah Connor. Like this to me, this felt like before she fought the Terminator because she just wasn't ready to fight the kids. So this probably gave her, broadened her shoulders a little bit. Now, and that's why she was able to take the Terminator out.
Yeah, they both came out the same year, man. So it's interesting, like how the roles work. I mean, in this one, she's kind of the damsel in distress, but same thing is going on in the beginning of Terminator, but by Terminator, the end of Terminator, she kind of, she wins because Kyle Reese dies in that conflict, and she's the one that has to take out the Terminator, man. So that's kind of cool, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't really got much else to say, man. I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely one I would encourage you to check out, man. Yeah, and it's not perfect, but I think it does have some cool elements. Just cool characters that show up. But I think the premise is cool, despite its budgetary and filmmaking shortcomings. But
I definitely I strongly suggest that if you haven't seen it, watch it just for the nostalgia of it. Mm-hmm. Just know that this film, it came out in '84. It plays like it came out in '84. There are a lot of 80s elements in this film that you can't overlook in modern day times. They didn't have a cell phone. They couldn't call for help. They were not using a GPS. They were actually using a fold-out map. So, these are all things that, work well for this film.
Yeah, and there's some questionable stuff. I think that being how we live now, that would give us alarm. But this is the era. Like, you needed help. You flagged somebody down and asked for help. It wasn't like this crazy taboo thing. I think I messed up the screen. But yeah, man, like it has some cool stuff going on in there. Like I was just saying, just the way we live now can make you look at some of the decisions in a certain way. But we didn't have phones, we didn't have Google and Siri. You needed help, you flag someone down, you stop at the gas station, you ask for directions, and that's how things were done. So it's like I feel like this movie goes different now. Or if you had to write this movie in modern times, maybe you have to do something different. Maybe the force around the town is prevent your phone from getting reception. And it's going to,
So you're forced to follow the street signs. Mm-hmm. There is no GPS.
Or you can just leave a dead kid in the road and go on about your life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But when in doubt, don't turn into the cornfields and try and find your way. There's nothing in there but problems.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, I think that's it, folks, man. We can wrap this up, man. You can catch me, Monk, at Monkey Blood on Twitter, Instagram. Also follow Classes of Cinematics at Classes of Cinematics on Instagram. And follow From the Canopy Network at FTCNet on Instagram.
And it's Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me on Instagram at Bobby Blockbuster118.
Yeah, and I think we're done, dude. This has been a rugged month, man. We gave y'all a lot of episodes, so we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programming on this next episode. We're going to probably switch up from horror altogether, do something a little bit different, but we're going to keep bringing these to you, man. And I don't know, man. It depends on how Bob's feeling. Maybe we'll still keep doing these double up recording days just so we can keep, bringing y'all, just bringing y'all material.
Yeah, man.
Bringing y'all stuff to look at and check out. You want to give me your Bobby Blockbuster?
I already did that.
Oh, you did? I did. Oh, my. Why am
I'm
telling you, dude, I think I'm going to be that dude that gets dementia, You're going to show up one day and I'm like, what you doing here? Like, we here to do the show. I'm like, show? What show? And all right, so we out of here.
Take it back.